another extra. Score is now 1 for 48. Thunder chasing 123 for victory, and the Bangladesh fans down in front of us at the commentary box starting to get a little more vocal now, having seen their side take the first wicket of the afternoon for them. Sam, just maybe try and give the fans out there, both the Sydney Thunder or anyone that supports cricket, I know it probably changes every day for you, but what does a normal day look like for you and the rest of the Thunder stuff? Or what would be some of the things that would be on your daily routine?
Yeah, so like you said, it does change often, and at the moment a lot of what we do is out in the community doing things for the Sydney Thunder. Usually throughout the school term we head out to lots of schools and try and grow the game that way and get involved as much as we can throughout the school community. We're not doing it in school communities, we're implementing a couple of our entry-level programs. So T20 Blast is our main focus at the moment. It sort of resembles what the Big Bash is, and there's music and smaller boundaries, so lots of fours and sixes and plenty of action, and the kids absolutely love it.
That's fantastic, really great to hear. It's really important for the growth of cricket that they continue to play at any level. So it's a new bowler, and it's Tajul Islam, and this ball has been cut through cover. They'll come back for two more, so Gibson's starting to see the ball a little bit like a beach ball at the moment. Moves along to 19 and brings up the 50 for the Sydney Thunder. Coming off 43 deliveries, so they're doing very, very well at the moment. Required run rate is below 6, getting close to 5.5 and over. So we'll see what Tajul Islam can do. He's done wrist spinner, that ball's better than his first, angling into the stumps. 24-year-old is Tajul Islam. This ball is attempting to go down the ground there to Gibson. He thinks about a second but gets sent back as the man from the deep comes in the field. I'm going to say goodbye to Sam, who's been very gracious to join us up in the commentary box and tell us a little bit about all the community work and all the fantastic work that the Sydney Thunder is doing. So we thank her for her time.
No, thank you for having me, and hopefully we see some of the victory here.
It's been pretty good at the moment for the home side, 1 for 51. Tajul Islam has bowled 2 balls so far. Sorry, 3 balls in this over. And this ball's worked onto the onside. So just no run there. And Tajul Islam has got a remarkable period of form that he's had lately. He's took a hat-trick on his ODI debut against Zimbabwe. And then a couple of months later, in just his third test appearance, he took 8 for 39 against Zimbabwe. So has proved he can do it in both formats. This ball is walloped out to cover just for the single. Takes Owen Morgan off the mark as Ryan Miller joins me back in the commentary box after having a brief reprieve, and no doubt probably a quick bite to eat as well.
Yeah, just enjoying some of the flavours of Spotless Stadium. There's plenty of fantastic food outlets around here. It's one of the more highly regarded viewing stadiums in Australia, in fact, for fan enjoyment.
So very nice. My first
a bit of turn here, Tanvir. Looks likely to maybe another wicket. Looks on.
Putting the ball in some marvellous areas at the moment. And he just throws this ball up around that middle and leg stump line, just woke to mid-wicket for no run. This one just danced down the track and moving straight back to Tanvir. Ball's a very good first over. 10 gone now. The Sydney Thunder are 3 for 60. That was some nice bowling, but I'm going to vacate the commentary box for a little bit as Nick Cummins comes in, the general manager of the Sydney Thunder, to talk all things Sydney Thunder as the Sydney Thunder try and keep themselves on track for what they need to get the victory here. We'll be back in a little bit of time, Ryan. I'll let it to you.
Thank you very much, Jack. And the score at the moment as we wait for Nick Cummins to just get his head set on and get sat in the seat alongside me. The score for the Sydney Thunder, 3 for 60 off the 10 overs, 63 required, and it's starting to get a little bit tight here. Nick, welcome along. What have you thought of the game so far?
Oh, it's been fantastic. It's been a fantastic atmosphere, a great turnout, the crowd, particularly by the local Bangladesh community. And yeah, it looks like we've got a game on our hands.
Nick, you've been on board as Thunder General Manager since, well, you started before the Big Bash League 03. How have you seen the progression of the club from that stage to being champions in Big Bash League 05?
Yeah, it's been a lot of work for a lot of people to take the club from a pretty interesting position that we found ourselves in. But not only that, the league itself has grown. So part of what Sydney Thunder's done is, I suppose, catch up to the rest of the league. But at the same time, the league has grown exponentially. So it's pretty exciting to see 6,000 or so people turn out to a practice match. It's certainly, we were getting 6,000 people to a BBL match in BBL 2.
It's very representative of the area that we're in Sydney, Western Sydney, that we do have a large crowd in here, mainly from Bangladesh, as we see the bowler come in again, bowling around the wicket to Blizzard, and they've gone for a quick single and they'll get through. The score 3 for 61 now. As I was saying, that we do have quite a large contingent of Bangladesh people living out here in Western Sydney. How have you found being able to expand into Western Sydney and get a lot of supporters from the area to embrace the club?
Yeah, well, we've got a very strong community program, which we spend a lot of time building a connection with the South Asian community in Western Sydney. So whether that be Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Afghanistan, we have an active and ongoing dialogue with fans from all those areas.
Fantastic bit of fielding there by Shivagatso. Just manages to save them getting any more runs.
Yeah, so part of that, it's really a long-term strategy as well. We find that by having meaningful relationships with the community, we're able to build dialogue and hopefully start to see some of those faces at Thunder matches, and we really see that looking at the surnames just in our membership database.
This delivery just then by Shivagatso on the leg stump, it was just played away by Morgan for a single through mid-wicket. Talking about being able to connect with the community, one of the big things that the Thunder has is the Thunder Bus and the Thunder Academies. Explain the processes behind them and the way that they get kids involved and kids starting to enjoy Big Bash League cricket. We'll just wait for this next delivery as the crowd is really starting to arc up here at Spotless Stadium, getting right behind the visitors. This one's on leg stump, is flicked away again by Blizzard, and it'll just be another single. Well, in fact, they've turned back. So sorry, as I was saying, Nick, the Thunder Bus and those type of programs that the club runs.
Yeah, the Thunder Bus is a mobile vehicle that goes out to schools and clubs and community events, which was introduced.
The ball will come in again. It's flicked off the leg stump, and they'll just take a quick single here for the Thunder. The score out to 63 for the loss of 3 wickets.
Yeah, so it was introduced to have a direct conversation with our fans. So previously we'd spent quite a lot of money on radio advertising, but didn't feel that we were necessarily getting the message through. So instead we decided to go out in the community and have one-on-one conversations with our fans. So that's fans from our Sydney heartland, anywhere from Leichhardt to Penrith to Campbelltown to the Hillshire.
were like out to regional New South Wales Orange and of course the Border Bash. What were the turnouts like?
Yeah, it was an extraordinary experience. Really, we had 3,500 people in Orange, and then nearly 10,000 people.
Oh, now that's big. That law should drop just before the boundary. That's a 4. Well struck there by Aiden Blizzard, the man on strike, and he moves on to 6.
Yeah, nearly 10,000 people at the Border Bash against the Melbourne Stars. It's so exciting to see the people in the regional areas who don't get a lot of access to elite content, getting a chance to see their stars, their stars up in close and personal. So it was terrific, and it's really given us a taste to do it again next year.
We'll touch on the Women's Big Bash League very shortly because they're into their second season. We'll just wait for this next delivery from Tanvir. This one's outside the off stump and it's just popped in the air and it will just miss the 2 fielders who are trying to get around to catch that, and it'll just drop safely. Probably a life there, you'd have to say, of Aiden Blizzard.
Yeah, it's maybe worthwhile giving it a whack, sort of buzzing around it, which is sort of Blizzard's style, but there's lots of time, and I think he's spending a bit of time getting himself in on this pitch.
Tanvir will come in again, bowling from the Royal stand, and that's hit on the pads. It pitched outside leg and was never going to hit the stumps, but a massive appeal from the Bangladesh supporters and also from Tanvir, and not out 13th over, 3 for 80 now the Thunder. They need another 43 runs to win this clash against the Bangladesh Cricket Board 11.
Yeah, it's good to see Blizz playing those shots. It is his staple, you know, the powerful forearms and really clearing the inner field.
Wait for the next delivery from Shubhashish. He's just had to dry it off a bit on his pads. It has been a bit wet and wintry conditions here in Sydney today, and it's chopped on. Blizzard is gone. He tried to play that one away onto the offside. It was never really the option, and it's put it straight down onto mid-stump. Really well received by the fans here at Spotless Stadium, and he'll go back to the bench down
בין היתר כביכול בקונצרטים של מוזיקה קלאסית, הם היו מבצעים
And that's why the man sitting next to me has got him back at the club, because he can do things like that.
Absolutely, he's a terrific player. So yeah, the guys who are with the academy, Chris Green and Nathan McAndrew both came through and played very well last year in the finals. Arjun there, as we mentioned.
Ball comes back in. This one's just outside the off stump, and trying to cut it there was Owen Morgan, and a direct hit again. They looked for overthrows from Arjun there at the non-striker's end, and it wasn't there.
Jason Sanger, who's an exciting 17-year-old batsman who's one of the next big things, we think, and Liam Hatcher as well, who's a express pace bowler, bowls about 140, 145, and has got some really exciting cricket ahead of him.
Jason Sanger, I think he's the youngest contracted player for New South Wales as well, just at the start of this summer.
That's right. Yeah, he's a very exciting prospect in all forms of cricket.
Ball comes in again. This one's on leg stump, and it's just turned away by Owen Morgan through where a mid-on would be. They managed to get a single, brings Nair onto strike. Morgan moves on to 16 to score 4 for 87.
Yeah, and this year obviously would have seen Jay Lenton open the batting, so he hasn't got a contract yet, but we're looking at bringing him in as a
שנה שלישית הוא בא אליי, שוב פעם אמרתי לו עד כאן.
who's broken a finger, so he'll be the seventh that's come through. So it's been a bit of a production line, and we've got a lot of young players sitting below those players that we think will come through the next 2 or 3 years.
There's been one or two articles written about the fact that Michael Hussey's gone, that Jarks Cullis is gone. They're two very experienced players. Still have Shane Watson around, who's injured for a bit. We'll get back onto that in a second. Around the wicket, and this one's flicked away by Arjun Nair through the mid-wicket area. He'll take a quick single. The loss of experience has kind of been questioned whether or not Thunder are able to replace them as batsmen. That's rubbish, in your opinion, or is that too strong a word?
Well, it's an opinion, and there's no shortage of opinion. I think we were picked to finish second last year.
Comes in again. This one's outside the off stump and driven straight down to the man long on. Just a single.
So yeah, I guess if there's enough opinions, eventually someone's going to be right. From our side, I think it's a fair observation that we've lost quite a bit of experience. We also lost Andrew McDonald as well, who's a terrific leader and a great thinker of the game. But we've also got some good experience still at the club. Obviously, Owen I mentioned before. Ben Rohrer has played T20 for Australia. Clint Mackay a couple of years ago was the best short form bowler in the world. We've got some really strong characters to support Watto, and even guys like Chris Green and Curtis Patterson are very impressive despite their age. And at the end of the day, I think the team will be defined by the 9
through where slips would be, and yeah, a better throw there, and I think Argentina would have been in trouble.
Yeah, tucks this one up his pads. They'll pick up another single, and with the position they're in at the moment, less than a run of ball required. The pressure is, it's not off the City Thunder, but they can rely on just picking up singles, and if there's the occasional bad ball, getting it away for 2 or 4.
That's what they've got to look for here, but of course both batsmen at the crease can certainly hit a boundary. We saw Argentina do it in the last over, and Nolan Morgan a couple of overs ago.
This one cut straight to the man this time, so very valuable dot ball for the Bangladesh Cricket Board 11. Tajul will just be trying to just hone on that off stump line, just try and cramp Morgan for a little bit of room.
Fantastic crowd in here at Spotless Stadium as well. They've certainly made a fair bit of noise as well, Jack. Maybe not all for the Thunder, but a fair bit for Bangladesh, which would certainly make them feel quite welcome here at Spotless Stadium.
Shows how loyal the fans are, as we've seen Morgan just stab this backward a point. There's another single picked up. Maybe overthrows, but no, the man is backing up in the deep. But yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic to have loyal cricket fans that, yes, they're supporting Bangladesh tonight, but there's a good chance that they've bought tickets to the Sydney Thunder Sydney Sixers match next week and probably going to be supporting the Thunder. That's how it goes, and it's made a really nice atmosphere. the City Thunder today.
It has, and it's hard to pick a man of the match for either side, really. I mean, no one has. There's been a couple of good performances, but no one's really stood out.
And this is knocked down the ground by Owen Morgan, and that ends the match here at Spotless Stadium. So Morgan will finish with 33 unbeaten, Nair 17 unbeaten. The Sydney Thunder finishing at 4 for 123. So they win comfortably by 6 wickets. So handshakes and congratulations all round. The mainstay of the innings by the Sydney Thunder was the captain, Owen Morgan, with 33. He's backed up well by Ryan Gibson, the opener, who finished with 21, and Jay Lenton with 25. No real standouts with the ball for Bangladesh. They struggled to get wickets early, and if we're being quite honest, Ryan, they just didn't get enough runs. They lost wickets in clumps early on. Did well to get to 122, as it looks like
we're going to have the overs bowled out here for Bangladesh, because they do have the tour of New Zealand coming up afterwards. So it looks like we're going to have those remaining deliveries bowled. So we'll be covering this right up until that is finished. The Thunder have, of course, won. They're well past, but it's a chance for Nair now to maybe really attack. He's got nothing to lose. The Thunder have won. Have a crack. Morgan might unleash as well. Morgan will, in fact, be on strike for these next couple of deliveries, and it's a chance as well for Bangladesh.